putting together a home gym, there's places you can save money and there's places that you really shouldn't save money. Now, I'm not saying you need to buy the most expensive of everything, but I am saying that there's a lot of things in a home gym that you'll see people out there recommend that you spend a ton of money on that you really don't need to. This rack's a great example. I'll do a review of this rack someday so you guys can see everything that I love about it, but this Titan Fitness rack saved me hundreds of dollars. And if I was to build another home gym tomorrow, this is the rack that would go in it. I wouldn't spend 2, 3, 4 times as much money on another company just because it's prettier, has better welds or better power coating. This thing works great, and it's a great place to save money. On the other end of the spectrum is your barbell. Your barbell is one of the few things in your gym that really I wouldn't go cheap on. Now, I'm not saying you need to spend $500. I'm not saying you need to spend $800. I'm not even saying you need to spend $300 or $400. But it's something that you shouldn't go to the $99 route on. It's something that you shouldn't just spend as little as possible. This is the piece that you touch every single time you work out. This is the thing that's going to be in your hands. This is your connection to your weight. And it's really not something that you should go cheap on. Now, that said, there are ways to save money on your barbell. And I'm going to go over a couple of those. And I tried one of them, and I want to show you how that actually turned out. When you're buying a barbell, there's a couple of ways that you can get a great bar and not spend a ton of money. The first one is to buy used. There are a lot of really good quality barbells out there that people bought thinking that they were going to work out all the time, and they just ended up not using their gym. The bars are in great condition, and even if they're not, bars can clean up pretty well. So you can save a lot of money by buying a nice bar used. Another way to buy a really nice bar and save some money, at least I thought this was a good option, is to buy a factory second bar. Now, I'm not going to call out the company that I bought this bar from. There's several companies that sell factory second bars. I don't think it's important to throw anybody under the bus, but I will tell you that I did see a lot of reviews out there where people said, oh, well, you buy these factory second bars and boy, I can't even tell. It looks just like a brand new bar. I don't even know why it's a factory second. This is crazy. I saved hundreds of dollars on my bar and it showed up and it works great. So I figured, okay, I needed a second bar. I wanted something to put in my landmine. I wanted something to deadlift from the pins from, where I didn't worry about the knurling getting kind of beat up a little bit. I wanted a bar I could drop deadlifting and not have to worry about. My other bar I spent a little bit more money on and I didn't really want to beat that up. So I wanted something that I could kind of not take as good care of. And I thought this was a great opportunity to try out those factory second options. So that's what I did. I ordered this bar right here. And when I first got it, I was pretty happy. Now that I've had it for 6 months, I'm probably not going to keep it. In fact, I'm not going to keep it, and I've ordered its replacement already. And I've learned my lesson. So while there's a lot of other videos out there talking about what a great deal you can get on these factory second sections on these websites for the major manufacturers, and I'm sure there's some great bars out there. I don't want to knock anybody. I'm sure a lot of you guys who have bought these bars have had great experiences. I'm sure the comments down below are going to be full of people telling me that I was the unlucky one and I got the one that didn't work well, but I can't be the only one who's going to have this experience. So I want to kind of walk you through what I don't like about the bar, what I do like about the bar, because it's not terrible, and why I replaced it. So there's a few things about a bar that would make it a factory second. And the first one is finish. Is the finish good? And this is a black oxide finish, and there's definitely some issues. If you can see right here, and I'll show you a close-up in a minute, the finish isn't great. It didn't take real well here. It's actually coming off in a couple of spots. So when I got the bar, I thought, okay, well, that's why it's a factory second. The black oxide finish is kind of coming off, but for me, again, for a beater bar, I was going to beat it up anyway. Not a big deal. So, no biggie. That first impression wasn't so bad. Then I took a closer look. Here we see a close-up of the bar. Let me get even a little bit closer. And you can see that the finish, now I've used this bar quite a bit, so it's not terrible, I did use it, but here you can see that black oxide finish isn't necessarily the highest quality job in the world, and you can see that it's missing in a couple spots, and But again, not a functional thing. The second thing I noticed is, if you can look right here, the knurling is just not the greatest right there. Where this meets the bar should be a lot cleaner. Now this side is better, still not great, not what you see on a high quality new bar, but this isn't that great. Again, not an issue with using the bar. Let me show you what was an issue with using the bar. This particular bar has a ribbed sleeve, and that's something you'll see a lot of manufacturers do. Supposedly it keeps the weights on better if you don't use collars. I always use collars, so it's never been a thing for me. And not a big fan of the noise that it makes, but it's not a big deal. Some people like it, some people don't. No big deal. The big thing for me is when you take a weight and you put it on, it should slide on and off easily. And typically a good bar with a smooth sleeve, the weight will go on and off. Not so smooth, right? And that's the problem with this bar, is this particular side, these weights don't come on and off real smoothly at all. That's not good. The weird thing is, if we look at the other side, also ribbed, should be the same. Slides right on. On top of that, when I took my collar and I put it on this side where it slides on fine, collar goes on and off just fine. If we flip it back around, when I go to put the collar on, this sleeve is noticeably bigger than the other one. Now, do the weights still go on? Yes, the weights still go on. Is it a deal breaker? No, I've used this bar for 6-8 months. I just didn't feel like spending money to replace it. But it did bug the crap out of me, and I gotta tell you, it's a pain to use. And the weight being hard to put on while it's on the J-hook is one thing. Put this thing in a landmine, which is what I bought it for, where the bar is a little angled and you're putting the weight on, and the weights are hard to put on and darn near impossible to take off. So what I ended up doing was really wrestling with the thing every time I used it, and every time I used it, I thought, you know what, I might have saved a few dollars on this barbell, but I wish that I had spent a little bit more and just bought a nice one, and not taken the chance on a factory second. And that's really the lesson that I learned was, could I have gotten a barbell that worked great? Yeah, I could have gotten a barbell that worked fantastic. Even with cosmetic issues, no big deal. But I got a bar that I can't hardly use, and it wasn't worth the risk for me. So, you know, over the lifetime of owning a barbell, which if you buy right the first time, you're going to own that bar for years. If you take the extra money you spend on a nice bar and you take it and you spread it out over those years, it's not that much. Just as a little aside, I got the calipers out. This side measures 51 millimeters, almost 52, I think 51.8 in diameter. That side, 49.5. How is there that much of a difference? So now I'm gonna have to sell this bar used. I can't be dishonest with somebody, so I'm gonna have to sell it for, even though I got a great deal on it to start with, at a loss. The good news is I set myself some training goals. When I hit those training goals, I told myself I'd order a new bar, and I ordered a new bar, and you'll see that in some of the other videos. But I guess the lesson is that, yeah, there's ways to save money on bars. And if you need to save money on a bar, I would recommend going the used route. Go where you can check it out, slide the weights on and off, take a look, make sure that it's something that is worth using and worth spending your money on, even if you are saving money. I can't, based on my experience of one bar, I know it's just, I bought one bar, maybe I got the one bad one of all the ones they make. But, you know, let me put my tinfoil hat on for a minute. The other sites that recommended these great deals on these factory second bars all have thousands of subscribers. And I gotta think that when you own one of these companies that sends out these secondhand bars and you see that one of those guys is ordering one of your bars, you can probably guess that it's going to be on YouTube in front of thousands of people. When I ordered the bar, they probably thought it was going to be in some guy's garage, which is where it is. So did they send them a better bar than they sent me? Did they send them a better bar than they might send you because you don't have a YouTube channel with thousands of subscribers? I don't know. Again, got my tinfoil hat on for that one. But the thought has crossed my mind. So, when I'm trying to recommend to people how they can build a great home gym, one that they're going to love using all the time, I thought I'd be able to recommend going with a factory second bar, and I just can't. And again, you want to save some money, buy used. Really the right thing to do? Just buy a little nicer bar to start off with and don't worry about saving money on the bar. The money that you save on a rack, the money that you can save on your weights, the money that you can save in other areas of your gym will more than pay the little bit extra it takes to get a great bar to start with. And I've got plenty of other videos out there coming out that will show you how to pick a great bar. If you want to go to the website, go to jimcrafter.com/barbell. Wrote a whole article on how to pick a great bar. Everything you need to know about bars is there. I've got my recommended bars there. But learn from my mistake. I'm going to have to sell this thing. I'm going to have to replace it. Hopefully you don't go through the same thing. So until next time, this is Tim with Jim Crafter.